Hi, I'm your host, Ashleigh Clyde, reporting for Kids First. Joining me today are a very special panel of talented voice actors from the new animated Nickelodeon series, Max and the Midknights. Joining me today is Blu del Barrio, who voices Max, the main character of the show, Melissa Villaseñor, the voice of Millie, Zeno Robinson as Simon, and Caleb Yen, who voices Kevin. Welcome to the show, everyone. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to
Hi.
interview you guys
Hi,
today.
Ashley.
Hey, Ashley.
I absolutely love this series. And Blue, I want to start with you. You voiced the main character of the show, Max. So, with Max being such a bold and adventurous character, how do you connect with Max's fearless personality?
Oh, I I love Max very much because she is very similar to how I was as a child. Um, and they're like, I don't know, I just remember being very, very stubborn and hard-headed, but like so driven, so driven as you 6, 7 year old when you don't need to be that driven. Like don't have a job, but everything felt like a job. Um, and I put so much responsibility on myself and felt, I don't know, I just felt very, very similar to Max when I was a kid. And so that kind of energy came back very quickly, I think, from the second that I started reading the scripts and then went back and read the books. I was like, oh man, this is really hitting close to home. So to get to go back to that and kind of like not worry about putting on more of like an adult filter of like when you grow up and that stuff sort of gets, I don't know, the niceties of like being older kind of have to come up front. I think this just made it really fun for me to bring that back.
Right. I love how you reference the books and also your childhood as a basis and foundation for playing the character. It makes it really relatable as you watch the show. And I want to talk about the animation in the show. Um, it's really dynamic. They have really incredible like 3D like effects in the show with great cinematic angles that you rarely see in children's animation. So I want to know what your reactions were seeing the show for the first time. Melissa?
I was taken back. I thought it was beautiful, and like you could almost, I want to touch it all because it looks like clay, and the textures are just gorgeous. I that when I first saw the, like the preview of the work on it, I was like, holy smokes. And yeah, you're right. The angles are so amazing. And that's what really makes the action so intense. Like you feel you're in there with them.
Right.
Yeah, it's a beautiful cartoon. Yeah, I love it. It's gorgeous.
Yeah. And how about you, Zeno?
Yeah, early on, the producers were telling me they were sort of aiming for this multi medium sort of way of animating it, like combining like stage sets and stop motion with CG animation. And I was just really honored to be part of something that had such a unique style and workflow, and you see it all on the picture, the finished product. So getting to watch like the conceptual stages from the boards to the stop motion sets to the CG models to how it all comes together is really like a treat and a visual treat. And I think kind of similar to what you said, adds to this like incredibly dynamic cinematic style. So I'm blown away like watching it. I feel like as a kid I would have loved it. Like having an eye for that kind of detail. And so I'm just like honored to be sort of a part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And Caleb?
The first time I saw like actual footage from it, I freaked out because I was like, like you said, it's so cinematic and like the number of different types of shots and just kind of like the sheer number of shots that there are. I was like, whoa, this is like a crazy like movie kind of thing. Like this is like wow. I didn't have words really. And so it's just I don't know, getting to be a part of something like that where it's just so different than what I'm used to seeing. Not that what I'm used to seeing is like that or whatever, but just to get to just see all of that muchness was just really cool. So
Yeah. I'm glad you guys all agree about the animation because I put it in my
Mhm.
review. I was like, oh, this is amazing. And
Okay.
you guys all voice like these really awesome characters. And I want to ask if you could hang out with your character in real life for a day, what would you all do together? Blue?
Oh, that's gonna make me so like that. Oh, makes my heart very happy.
Mm.
I would go. I would go to the beach with Max for sure, because that is. I had a lot of these like. I spent a lot of time at the beach when I was younger. I grew up near LA, and I would spend most of my time like in the ocean making up these stories in my head of like that I was fighting off water monsters, and yeah, that just feels very like full circle to have like a beach day with Max.
Yeah, that sounds cool. And also a follow-up question to that I also want you guys to ask or answer is, would you even be friends with these characters in real life if you had the chance to? So Blue, you can answer that as
Ooh.
well.
I think we would be friends. I think it would be like I don't know why I just thought of like two kids running for student council president, like very like butt heads, but I still also think very good friends.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. And Melissa, what would you do with your character for a day? And if would you guys be friends?
I mean, I don't know why I was singing. For some reason, I want to go to a forest with her and kind of play imaginary characters together or something. Because I feel like Millie, also, she has a little dark side that's kind of like, oh, yeah, that's cool. And I think that she helps me just be amazed by, you know, cool things. And yeah, that's a good question. I was still, that's a good one. I'm going to keep thinking about that. Thank you.
And you, Zeno?
Simon and I would for sure be friends. He's really, really cool, and really sweet. And I do see a lot of myself in him. I think like we'd probably go to a farm or something. I would say the zoo, but I don't think Simon agrees with the idea of zoos.
Right.
I think we want to free all the animals. So we'd probably like hit a farm. It reminds me of this time. I work on this other show called Big City Greens, and like before we premiered, they like brought a bunch of animals to. They like brought a bunch of animals, and so like when I went, I was like, "Oh, little chickens!" So there's actually literally a picture of me like holding a chicken. And I think it's just very Simon-esque. It's very like emblematic of who Simon is. That's probably what we do. Is just like hang out with animals, and I'd want to talk to them, and he'd probably like tell me like what they're saying. You know?
Do they answer back?
No, they run away. Not cute and adorable like Simon. I can't get them their attention.
Awesome. And Caleb?
Uh, I've had all this time to think. I forgot where it was, but I read that there was this like town that like maybe it was in Europe where like every store sells books and like it's like the whole town of like bookstores and whatever. So I would take Kevin to that and he would freak out because there's so many books. And then we would read the books and then I would go and find like a really fancy European library, you know, with like the bell kind of thing where you can like go on the staircase. No, what's it called? The little ladder thing and like go back and forth or whatever. So that'd be really fun. And as if we'd be friends, I think at first we would not because we're similar in a lot of ways, but Kevin is much more articulate and sometimes pedantic about articulateness than I am, and I am not as smart as him. But I think we'd get through it, and then we'd be friends. So yeah, that's how I feel about that.
Well, I want to thank you guys for this interview. I think especially towards that last question, I think it actually might have been the responses might have been different coming from the characters themselves, which is pretty interesting if you think about it that way. But I want to really thank you guys for this interview. It's a really incredible show, and congratulations.
Well, thank you.
And you have a beautiful smile.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Thank you all so much for joining me today. Max and the Midknights premieres on Nickelodeon on October 30th, 2024. I'm Ashleigh Clyde, reporting for Kids First. Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on another review or interview just like this one. Thanks for watching. Bye.